Can you imagine a desert ground war being fought and won in roughly 4 days? Yep, I know, sounds insane. I mean, call it the speedrun of the century or aimbotting a bunch of depressed tearbeards who had nowhere to go. We're talking, of course, about the 1990 Gulf War. That time Saddam Hussein thought he could casually invade his tiny oil-rich neighbor Kuwait. Until, wait a minute, the US Army, Navy and Air Force joined the party and they brought a few friends. Whoopsie! Laser rangefinder versus sandals matching a dress. Not exactly a fair fight. So, in this video we dive headfirst into the carnage and drop some payloads as well. Oh yes! Brace yourselves for an absolute sandbox shitshow. From the brutal tank brawl at 73 Easting to the flaming wrecks on the highway of death, we'll unpack this lightning-fast war in excruciating detail and show exactly how coalition forces drew a line in the sand against Saddam's very thirsty cravings for oil and global attention. Do you want to ride around in your own tanks to invade the enemy forces? Well, now you can, thanks to our sponsor Sherman Commander by Iron Wolf Studio and Daedalic Entertainment. War isn't won by firepower alone, it's won by strategy. In Sherman Commander, you take command of a platoon of Sherman tanks across the most famous theaters of World War II. Step into the role of an underdog on the battlefield, facing heavier, more heavily armored enemies where every mistake can have direct consequences. Engage in tactical tank warfare as you support infantry and conduct maneuver-oriented duels. The enemy AI is dynamic and will attempt to outmaneuver you, forcing you to think ahead and adapt under pressure. Experience true realism. Your tank is a slow, lumbering war machine that requires the full effort of its crew to operate. Issue specific orders to your crew, command the remaining tanks in your platoon, and use the tactical map to coordinate your actions with accompanying units. Sherman Commander has just released on Steam. Check it out now via the link in the description or check the Steam page directly. Take command and lead your platoon. So, what kicked off the Gulf War? Well, Iraq had just survived an 8-year war with Iran, and as we all know, wars are pretty expensive. Iraq was broke and desperately looking for cash, but what they weren't looking for was a $15 billion debt collector named Kuwait demanding repayment. Now, instead of paying up, Kuwait got served a full dictator-level Karen rat. Accusations of manipulating oil prices, stealing oil through slant drilling, and basically a never-ending list of "you suck" arguments. Kuwait's response? They shrugged, ignored the whining, and tried diplomacy instead of escalation, a strategy that, as it turns out, doesn't exactly go over well with dictators. However, coalition planners were sure Saddam wouldn't evade an Arab brother nation. Which makes sense until you realize the guy is a ruthless maniac who takes many lives and gives zero fucks. Oh yes, the Middle East can be such a fun place from time to time. Now needless to say, Iraq invaded Kuwait almost immediately, and in no time the Iraqi army had full control of their neighboring Arab brother nation. And as soon as the US figured out oil was involved, coalition nations started massive troop buildups in Saudi Arabia, both to protect the region and to get ready for a full-on liberation operation. And to get some oil in the process, of course, I mean, duh. Now over time, more troops and weapons poured into Saudi Arabia like loading a game lobby with all the OP weapons unlocked. Tanks, artillery, helicopters and planes streaming in like someone hit spawn everything. The desert was officially ready for the ultimate showdown. The UN even issued a deadline for Saddam to basically fuck off back to Iraq, but apparently Saddam's ego was bigger than his mustache, so nothing happened. And so, in January 1991, after Iraq ignored more deadlines, the coalition launched Operation Desert Storm, starting with a massive air campaign to weaken Iraqi forces. Now, over the course of 5 weeks, about 2,700 coalition aircraft completely obliterated Iraqi air defenses. Stealth attack aircraft like the F-117 Nighthawk destroyed radar installations, and Iraq's air power was basically wiped out on the ground and in the air. Now, after 5 weeks of turning enemy planes into fireworks, the coalition decided it was time for boots on the ground. Sand. And so the ground, or sand war in this case, had officially begun. The plan? A massive left hook maneuver. Swoop around Iraqi defenses, trap their troops in a giant desert pincushion, and let the fun begin. And oh, fun it was. Within hours, US armored elements were closing in on Saddam's Republican Guard division. These guys were dug in, waiting inside their rusty T-72 tanks ready to fight. But unfortunately for them, the first thing to arrive wasn't the enemy, it was a sandstorm, turning visibility into no visibility and making their already outdated gear even more useless. And just like that, the stage was set for one of the most lopsided tank engagements ever. The Battle of 73 Easting was about to begin. So cruising straight through the storm, Abrams tanks and Bradley fighting vehicles from the 2nd Cavalry Regiment closed the distance with zero hesitation. Thanks to thermal vision, they could see Iraqi tanks glowing through the sand like campfires. Laser rangefinders dialed in the distance and the shooting started before the Iraqis even knew they'd been spotted. Turns out Saddam's elite Republican guards were more like Republican retards. Well, this well-coordinated attack overwhelmed the Iraqi defenders, with soldiers running in every direction or just exploding in place. And meanwhile, Bradley fighting vehicles rolled through, picking off stragglers and turning the battlefield into a tank graveyard. Which, honestly, was easy, since the Iraqis had already done all the digging for them. When the sandstorm cleared, the US tankers surveyed the battlefield and counted around 80 enemy tanks destroyed. But the real question, at what cost? The answer, 0 tank losses, 1 Bradley damaged. Yes, that's right, 80 tanks obliterated, while the Abrams crew's only worry was whether their own tank would be washed and clean for the next day. Coalition forces rolled across the desert, and by this point, Saddam probably realized invading Kuwait was a bit of a terrible idea. So, the Iraqi occupation forces in Kuwait City did what any beaten army does. They ran, fast, down Highway 80 back towards Iraq. Now, unfortunately for the commuters, everyone had the same idea. The highway quickly became the world's worst traffic jam. Tanks, APCs, ammo trucks, civilian cars, and a few fuel tankers tossed in like a bonus hazard. Because, why not? And from above, US pilots were probably peering down and thinking, where do you think you guys are going? So for the next 10 hours, coalition aircraft turned the convoy into a flaming demolition derby. Trucks exploded, tanks burned, soldiers sprinted like it was a bad action movie. And by sunrise, Highway 80 looked less like a road and more like the aftermath of a very angry video game. Around 2,000 vehicles were now smouldering wrecks, earning the nickname the Highway of Death. It served as a brutal reminder that retreating under total air supremacy isn't exactly a strategy. But then again, what was a strategy for the Iraqi occupiers? Just saying. And just like that, the Gulf War was basically over. Kuwait was liberated, Iraq's elite units became deleted units, and Saddam, well, he was still breathing, but he wasn't exactly a happy guy. During the air campaign and the following ground operation, coalition forces lost 292 men. They also lost 31 tanks, 28 Bradleys, 1 APC, and 75 aircraft. The Iraqi forces lost, wait for it while we grab a bag of chips with hummus, 3,300 tanks destroyed, 2,100 APCs toast, 2,000 artillery pieces blown into pieces, 110 aircraft burned, and 19 ships sunk. Oh, and around 20,000 to 50,000 guys died as well. Yeah, nice scores, Iraq. So in the end, Saddam learned the hard way that invading an Arab brother nation is one thing, stealing their oil is maybe something else, but pissing off the United States and their coalition buddies armed with stealth aircraft, smart bombs, and tanks with thermals and laser rangefinders, yeah, those guys don't fuck around, do they? So, did you enjoy this deep dive into the Gulf War? We've got tons more videos exploring all the dark chapters of history. So subscribe to our channel or become a member on YouTube or Patreon to watch our videos uncensored and get those early access releases.